Carpetbagger here, coming to you live from my hometown, my boyhood home of Valparaiso, Indiana. Now, in my adult years, I've taken to traveling America looking for strange, unusual, and wonderful things. But I just wanted to show that sometimes you don't have to go very far to see wonderful things, and it's important to look at the amazing things that are right where you're at. My boyhood home is probably 2 miles from here. This museum, the Porter County Museum, has something pretty amazing inside, and I never bothered to go here until I moved away. So we're gonna head in and take a look at what wonders this museum holds. Follow me. Also known as the Poco Muse, open Wednesday through Saturday 10 to 5, and then it's free, completely free. Of course, donations are appreciated. Now just take a look at this. Daisy the dog. This dog was killed by a car in the 1930s until her owner had her taxidermied, and then she sat on her couch for 40 years until her death, where she was donated to this museum where she sat for another 40 years. And apparently they recently had her reupholstered, had some of her mange and spots fixed, but she still is a beautiful dog to this day. People ask me all the time, why are you so obsessed with taxidermy? And this is one of the reasons. This is one of those happy cases where even though the dog tragically died, taxidermy allowed it to be shared with people and to be loved for an additional 80 years. People put their cultural heritage. This person is a Irish goof. It's a water main made out of wood. You can see some problems with that, but an architectural wonder nonetheless. It's a Bethlehem steel helmet. It's where my grandfather worked his entire life. This is the entrance to the old Porter County Jail. And there's an elephant skull right here. Why not? Elephants are awesome. It's always cool when places reuse buildings. This old jail cell here. It's now someone's office. Can you imagine this being your office? What if they locked you in here until you finished your expense reports? Prehistoric Porter County. Apparently these farmers found mastodon teeth while digging in their fields. Digging a ditch. And again, I grew up here and had no idea that they were digging up mastodon skulls in the fields. Oh, look at that. That's actually, you can tell how that's part of the jail, like the visitation room. Yeah, from the other side, I guess this would be like where you could look at the prisoners and speak to them. Who knew? I grew up in a mastodon hotbed. Look at this, once held deadly prisoners. They now hold educational exhibits while I'm digging up mastodon teeth. A tooth? What should we do now? Better call the police. Doesn't work. Let's see what they have in here. Ooh, a direwolf, like from Game of Thrones, right? There's a saber-toothed skull down there. There's a bear. Oh, and there's a giant ground sloth skull. Gotta love that. For some reason, I've always had an obsession with giant ground sloths. They're so cool. I think I'm supposed to go back here, but I think this is their storage area. Sometimes the storage areas of museums have the best stuff in them. They just don't have a way to display them, and it's all stored here in an old drunk tank, it looks like. We have a Civil War soldier here. Some pretty cool local items, a plaque for the Lincoln Highway, which actually runs through Valparaiso here. Yeah, I grew up a block away from the Lincoln Highway and never knew what it was until I was an adult. It's a soapbox derby helmet. And I was reading, they said this was a frog made out of steel. It was originally displayed as a petrified frog, but then they did studies on it and it was made of metal. No explanation. This is a hat made for the first ever popcorn festival. That's Orville Redenbacher, who was born in this town. He's the commander of the parade. Here is a death mask of a murderer. That's Oral Easton. I like this. Apparently this was a slogan for Valparaiso at one point. You'll like Valpo. Trust us on this. The last pin holder and pin of the Valparaiso Pin Company. Look at that big board of traps. Ripped your leg off. Check out this horn chair. It's what like an evil sorcerer would sit in. The military room. Look at this. Military boxing show. This is pretty cool. This man served in World War II. His name is John Jefferson Miller. His wife, Virginia Lee Lamb. When they were married, they used his parachute to make her wedding dress. Here's some World War II collectibles. Some of this stuff, a little disturbing. There's a SS uniform. There's a Japanese sword. That book just says Adolf Hitler, huh? Got some more, some Nazi stuff right there. This is the entrance to what looks to be a Wild West show, but that's not, it's not Wild Bill, that's Bronco John. Huh. Okay, here's the story of Bronco John. Apparently he was part of Buffalo Bill's Wild West show, and then joined Doc Carver's Wild West show. Then Doc Carver's Wild West show went bankrupt, and everyone was stranded in Valparaiso. And apparently Bronco John took the initiative to stay with everyone and arrange everyone's passage home. So he was a cowboy hero of sorts. And here's Bronco John's hat, and his whip, and his revolvers. So apparently after being stranded in Valparaiso, he liked the place and stuck around and told his Wild West stories to all the children. Yeah, know what's around you, know what local attractions there are, what small museums are there, and every small museum has some worth or some artifact we're seeing. I mean, the taxidermy dog Daisy, she makes the whole experience worth seeing, and then there's also some other just bits and pieces of crazy history can be found there as well. Uh-oh. Of course I couldn't visit Valparaiso without stopping to pay homage to its most famous hero. And there he is, the man himself, Orville Redenbacher, here in statue form, middle of downtown Valparaiso, Indiana. Now this bench is a little soggy, so I'm not gonna sit here next to him, but I'm just gonna crouch down here and hang out with Orville for a little while. I appreciate you guys joining me, visiting my hometown's museum. It had some wonderful little things in it, and visiting with Orville as well. If you'd like to contribute to these videos, please check down the description. I have a Spreadshirt shop as well as a Patreon. But for now, this one's in the bag.